My name's Grier. I'm a fashion designer. I live and work in my hometown of Melton, County Donegal. I was born with a hearing condition that has gradually been getting worse and worse over the years. I'm 7th of 11 in my family and some of us are deaf. I didn't wear hearing aids and I relied on lip reading a lot. When I was 24 I started to wear hearing aids, and at that stage I would have been classed as profoundly deaf. I see myself as an in-betweener. I don't really belong in the deaf world. I don't belong in the hearing world. I first contacted Beaumont Hospital about 14 years ago about cochlear implant, and they did tests for me. At that stage my hearing was too good, even though it was very poor. They suggested hearing aids, which I got fitted, but I was told then that my hearing would continue to deteriorate, but it stabilised until about 2 years ago when it started getting worse. I had about 35% hearing in my left ear, but it dropped to 2%. At the time I blamed my hearing aid for about 6 months. I kept sending it back to the hearing clinic. I contacted Beaumont then. It was a bit of a shock to find out how much I had left. They did numerous tests, MRI scans and all that, and then I found out about 2 months ago that I was eligible for the operation. It was something I always wanted. It's going to change my life. They gave me super strong hearing aids as a trial before the operation. The first time I had to see, I was sitting on the rocks for 4 or 5 hours at the end of the beach. It was quite funny because a few people expressed fears because they thought I was depressed. I was just sitting there listening to it. I've never heard it before. Absolutely amazing. Just listening to it over and over again. Business-wise, I think it will change my life.
Aye, and too long in the sleeves. I should have tried on for you, TC.
Yeah.
Do you want me to try it on, TC?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I'm very fortunate to have had the shop for 7 years. I would like to go further than that. One of the things that is really handy back is that I can't use the telephone. And I do a lot of business through email, Facebook, Twitter, text messages, face to face. I miss out a lot by not being able to lift the phone. I've never heard a bee buzzing. I've not heard a clock ticking. I've not heard the wind just blowing. I've never heard somebody breathing. I've not heard, this is going to sound a bit rude, I've not heard a fart, but I've certainly smelled one. I was really nervous and didn't really have anybody to talk to about about my fears and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I've been deaf 37 years, and I mean, it's a huge big step to take. What's it going to be like? I know I had talked to this previously with the doctors, whatever, but because it sounded so, because it seemed so far away, I never really thought anything about it. But as I got closer, I got upset about it. I was going to change my mind. Well, my sister talked me out of it. Maybe about 3 days before I wasn't going to come. And then part of me was wishing I was still in the Whitsundays off the coast of Australia, instead of having to pack my bag and get ready for hospital. It really messed with my head. I built myself up this far with that. You know, it would be foolish not to do it. I think I was just worrying about not the operation itself, but the aftermath, you know, up here. You know, what if I don't like it? I mean, I've been deaf 37 years. I mean, okay, you get used to the peace and quiet. Now this is just going to be like full on, but I have to be positive about these things. Took me down at 1 o'clock and injected stuff into me. When I woke up around 5 o'clock, it's done. It's done. I had a big bandage on my head. I think my ear was folded forward and then packed. I have 10 staples in the back of my ear, and it's in there somewhere, the implant. I can touch it, but because it's still swollen, I can't find out exactly where it is. I don't want to, and I start digging for it, but I can feel something. I have tinnitus, so it was like 100 times worse, which is like, what do you call those things? Drill. Dizzy. I've lost my sense of balance. I'm getting better now. I'm getting better. You're traumatizing the inside of your ear by inserting this cochlear inside it, so it upsets your balance. So I'll be unsteady for a little while. I'm getting better, but just as long as I hold on to something, it feels like you're drunk. I have to meet the surgeons tomorrow morning, and they will tell me whether they're happy with it or whatever. I've had an X-ray. The doctors here seem quite happy with it. I asked them for the X-ray, if I could have it, a copy of the X-ray, to use it for my Facebook profile picture. They weren't amused. I'll go back home to Donegal, take a couple of weeks rest, and stay with my mum, and we'll come back here in 4 weeks' time. Then I get fitted with the processor, which is like a fancier version of my hearing aid, but without this. It just clips over my ear and then connects to the magnet inside my head. So then I have the big switch on. It's been hard. It gets better every day. They first switched it on and it was awful. It was awful. It was just, nothing made sense. It was just like bells and whistles. Really loud. And that was before I figured out how to work this. It was awful. So I went back to the hospital a week later and we did more programming to get the correct, what's the word, pitch for me. But we've still got a long way to go. We're not quite there yet. There's a lot of work involved. But hopefully we'll get there. They said about 6 months. It'll be 6 months before I even get to anywhere normal. It's not going to be normal. It never will be normal. But better.
But 3 weeks is a very short time.
I know that, but I'm too impatient. That's my only problem. I want it now. I have exercises and stuff that I have to do as well. I do homework. I do constantly stop, depending on lip reading, and to actually listen. It's quite difficult actually.
3 yellow fish.
3 something. Say it again.
3 yellow fish.
3 something fish. I can't get the colour. 2 blue cars.
Very good.
5 green flowers. No?
5 black flowers.
Pink flowers.
Black flowers.
Laurel Rose silver boots.
Well done.
Did I get it?
You got it.
Yeah!
Well done. Have you any regrets?
No. 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 I can only get better. But there has been days when I thought, what have I done? But then again, that's normal. It's part of the course, really. No, I don't. I think for me, one thing would be is listening to music. But I've a long way to go before I even get there. I've got to learn to hear first. People, speech, before I even think about music. I used to think before I had the switch on that I would be able to use the mobile phone and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Not yet.
I don't know. I don't know whether I'll be able to. The only time will tell. So obviously I have to concentrate and just be able to hear first. I have to learn, I have to walk before I can run. Part of me sometimes feels, I don't know, will get this little niggling thought in your head, and you think, is this it? Is this what is this what I have for the rest of my life? Being able to hear but not quite hear, if that makes sense. Where everything sounds like whispers. You can hear it, but you don't know what it is. But with my lessons and stuff, I hopefully will be able to, fingers crossed. Okay, that's the first 100 days since the operation. I have noticed huge changes. I can hear lots more little things I never knew existed, like bumblebees, the wind, rain on the roof. I like that actually. The funniest one was, the funniest sound I heard was my watch ticking. But because when I first hear a new noise, I have to figure out what it is. And I was for ages trying to find out what this little ticking noise was. It took me about maybe a day or something. And the funny thing was, it followed me around the whole time. But every time I was moving my hand around, it would go away, then come back. And eventually I figured it out that it was coming from, you know. So now I know that a watch ticks. A watch has a ticking sound coming from it. I went back to Dublin to Beaumont Hospital for my check-up, and I had to do the whole hearing test all over again to see how far on I've come since such on. And I scored the grand total of 46%. Yay! I sometimes surprise myself because I will actually hear it, something being said, but then I still imagine that I imagined it. I'm not quite trusting myself that, and it's funny because I'll actually hear maybe a split second later than everybody else. At least I get the last laugh, because you know, it's like I hear something, then you go, oh, that's funny, and then you start laughing, and then it's like, well, but I'm catching up, I'm getting better. If I hear sounds and stuff like that, I don't react to them as I used to. You know, like if somebody rang the doorbell, I would be jumping around the house with a heart attack. Now I know it's actually somebody at the door, and I can just walk downstairs instead of running breakneck speed to get to open the door. I used to say, how long have you been waiting now? But now I'm just, I recognise sounds now, and I'm getting much better. I love it now. I absolutely love it. If I was to do it all over again in the other way, I wouldn't think twice now. I would go for it. Even though they told me what was involved, like I was going to say, it goes in one ear and it out the other, but it didn't even go in one ear to come out the other. So I just kind of winged it really, but I'd be lying if I said it. It wasn't pleasant at all, but that's past now. That's past. It's like toothache. You forgot all about it. Yeah, I'd definitely do it again. I really would.